You are now tuned in to the multi-nominated, award-winning Game Spitting Chronicles podcast, hosted by the homie Cuzzo. You BZ? It's the Chronicles podcast. 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 It's the Chronicles podcast.
What up, y'all? This is your boy Cuzzo. We back for the Chronicles podcast. Let's go. I've got to be completely honest with you guys. I'm still upset from earlier this week. I'm fired up. I'm angry at myself, because I could have made the adjustments for my microphone for the live stream, and I didn't, and the live stream sounded horrible. Kamala was saying a bunch of shit that was totally false. I felt like I couldn't get my shit off during the debate, and it was a shit show. Oh, yeah. It was a shit show. Yeah. I try to pride myself on doing content for you guys that sounds good, that looks good, from the art of my podcast cover to the presentation of StreamYard and everything. I try to do my best to make the presentation good, I try. But sometimes Jordan misses a shot, Sometimes things don't go as planned, but, Twan, we got to give it up for Twan. He held it down with the comment section and everything. I just couldn't get my shit off. It was an okay week for me. It could have been better, but it was just one of those weeks that just didn't go for me. But Twan picked up the slack. Salute to him and needleandthreads.com, needleandthreadsco.com. Let's go. I'm stuttering and shit. But what did you guys take away from the debate? We're now hearing rumors that there's a whistleblower. Actually, there's a rumor that there's multiple whistleblowers that are going to come forward and say that ABC colluded to help Kamala. How do you feel about that? After post-debate. Because looking at social media and looking at the reactions, the Kamala voters are going to vote Kamala regardless, but a lot of people thought it was biased. I mean, let's listen to some of the post, numbers that CNN gave post debate. Let's hear what they had to say, because we got to get to it.
Me here, who would better handle the economy is what we ask. Going into the debate, before the debate, 37% said Harris, 53% Trump. After the debate, again, margin of error stuff here, but numerically she lost a little ground. 35% said so after the debate, that she would better handle the economy. 55% said Trump, and we know that is one of his strongest suits across the polling in this election, and he seemed to hang on to that piece in this debate tonight, according to our poll of debate watchers.
So Trump gained a little bit of ground, and according to CNN, on the economy? Now, Trump is saying there will be no third debate. He doesn't want to do it no more. Do you blame him? I mean, it was a 3v1. would you want to go back in and have a third debate? If they're going to do a third debate, it at least has to be on even ground. It has to be. You can't just keep having debates on networks that cater to the Democrat portion, Democratic views, and not go on the other side. You just can't.
Well, when you don't win, it's like a fighter. When a fighter has a bad fight, gets knocked out, or loses the fight, the first thing he says is, "We want a rematch." So we won the debate according to every poll, every single poll. I think that are we going to do a rematch? I just don't know. But we'll think about it.
Now, if the polls don't change, after the debate, what is the point of another debate? I agree with him. Do I think they should debate again? Yes, I think Trump could have performed better. I still hold on to what I said at the end of the stream. I said, I look at it as a split decision. You could go either way on the scorecards. 51-49, either fighter, you dig? Just my thoughts on it, but I think both of them weren't good. Then you had the post debate. Oh, Taylor Swift. It seemed like Taylor Swift just had that. Taylor Swift had that post just magically ready to go, didn't she? She had it ready to go. Do you blame her? I mean, she knew that she was going to endorse Kamala Harris anyway. She knew it anyway. But it was all pretty much planned, if you ask me. And you ask that the average person, they think it was pretty much planned. It was a rollout, you would say. As some people would say, of her having a picture with a cat. She said, "Like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now is a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you the most. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about their proposed policies and plans for this country. Recently, I was made aware that an AI of me falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted onto his site. I really conjured up my fears around AI. It really conjured up my fears around AI, and the dangers of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for this election as a voter. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. I'm voting for Kamala because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she is steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm, not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who has been standing up for LGBTQ plus rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research. I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially the first-time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to be registered. I also find it's much easier to vote early. I'll think where to register and find early voting dates and info in my story. I'll link where to register and find early voting dates and info in my story. With love and hope, Taylor Swift. Yeah. 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 So let's get to some reactions, because she drove 500,000 people to the website. Even though she has 284 million followers on social media, she drove 500,000 to the website. Who are probably going to vote Kamala anyway. Let's keep it a buck. Yeah. They were probably going to vote Kamala anyway. Can we be honest about that? But let's hear what JD Vance had to say in response to that.
Well, look, we admire Taylor Swift's music, but I don't think most Americans, whether they like her music or fans of hers or not, are going to be influenced by a billionaire celebrity who I think is fundamentally disconnected from the interests and the problems of most Americans. Look, when grocery prices go up by 20%, it hurts most Americans. It doesn't hurt Taylor Swift. When housing prices become unaffordable, it doesn't affect Taylor Swift or any other billionaire. It does affect middle-class Americans all over our country. And
Uh-oh. It's true. But let's continue. We have a person who considers themselves a Swiftie. That's a hardcore Taylor Swift fan, for those of you that don't know. Let's see what she had to say recently about this.
Amy Jeffries, a law student and mother in Arizona, is a huge Taylor Swift fan and also a fan of Donald Trump. She says the issues she most cares about, abortion, immigration, and the economy, align with Trump.
I'm voting Trump because we need to secure our borders, also economically. I mean, the last 4 years have been insanely hard on everybody, and it's not getting cheaper.
Uh-oh. And that's what I'm saying. Taylor, we didn't need to know that you were voting for Kamala Harris. We didn't need to know that. And I think she's going to come to see that a lot of her fans and her listeners don't feel the same way she feels politically. Taylor Swift has money. She has money. She's a billionaire. The average person is trying to dig through change to go to the grocery store, to spend money they don't have to make ends meet. I think there might be somewhat of a disconnect between her and her fans. I kind of believe that. You know, I don't know too much about Taylor Swift personally, but she's had quite a few relationships, has she not? I mean, she's 34 years old and she's had damn near 15. They say, some say 12, some say up to 15. She's had over 10 publicly known exes. Yeah. Yeah. It seems, I don't know how your fans feel about your music, because I don't know too much about your music, but that's a lot of content to have over 10 public figure exes. But that just seems like a lot of bad choices, does it not? We're 34 and we're still trying to figure it out. No offense on her. Hey, it's your life. You do what you do, but you're taking everyone on this joyride of you just trying to figure out. You don't have, you haven't had a steady relationship, a meaningful relationship. So do your fans take you seriously? I'm just asking. I'm not familiar, but how serious do you, as a listener, to some of you that listen to Taylor Swift, if any of my listeners do, how seriously do you take her? If she runs through this many guys, how serious do you take her? Even if it's and I'll keep it a buck, if it's a male celebrity that's had damn near 15 well-known public figure exes, I'd say the same thing if it was a guy. If you're a guy and you're dating all these women in Hollywood and you're just every couple of years you're just finding someone else, you got to figure it out, man. So if you got a history of bad choices, this just might be another one. Oh yeah, we cooking today. You know. Yeah. But people are hurting. People are struggling. And you have guys like Mark Penn, who came out and said, who's a Democrat advisor, a former Clinton advisor, who came out and is calling for a probe into the ABC debate due to the possible whistleblowers. He's calling for a probe.
My reaction is I'm really concerned about what ABC did. When the refs put their finger on the scale, you got to throw out the score of the game. What would have happened in that debate had they challenged Harris and said, that's not right what you said there about Charlottesville. Right. We don't know how she would have reacted, and then Trump wouldn't have to spend all his time on the debate center. I think they did a real disservice to the voters of America when they did that, and they put in jeopardy the institutions of debate.
Well, and look, for the candidate on your side of the political aisle, it might have helped her. If you want to get sharp, you have to rub up against something that will sharpen you. And it might have even helped her quiet down those in your party who still have so many questions about her policies.
That's facts. There's so many people that walked away still not knowing who Kamala Harris is, what she stands for. What does she stand for? People still want to know. They're trying to figure it out. No ground to me was gained on her end. Here's another clip of a woman saying, this was on Dr. Phil, she still doesn't know what to think.
I came into this with an open mind. I really, really wanted Vice President Harris to hit it out of the park. I don't think she did. I think she did better than some people expected her to. The cackle was not there. I kept waiting for it, and it didn't come. But I still didn't get answers. I didn't get answers to fundamental questions that we need to know as voters. And we just keep getting circled around that.
Like what? What did you not get an answer to?
Her economic plans. What is an opportunity economy? What does that mean? Who's paying for the tax cuts that she's proposing? Because in my opinion, giving people down payment assistance on houses just drives inflation up higher. Who's paying for all of these child tax credits? That's just the taxpayers coming out of pocket and hurting the middle class again. So I don't think that we got to the meat and potatoes of the things that really matter. And we know from Donald Trump's presidency before, he can fix the economy. So I was really looking for her to make an impact.
Here we go. This is what people are saying. People want to understand, right? They want to understand. They want to know what the plan is. if there is one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know. Meanwhile, Biden's running around here wearing Trump hats. Did you see it? I thought it was a meme at first. I thought it was AI, but it's real. Biden said, I give 0 fucks. Y'all move me to the side. I'm going to do what I want to do. As he should. Fuck it. As he should. But I'll play the audio. There is video too. But listen to what he says. Hilarious.
Hell no. You know what? Put it on. Come on. There's no network. Spencer do a selfie. There he goes. Hey, I'm proud of you now. Hey, they're good. They're good. You cut the fried chicken. I don't know if you like it.
He did it. Can't make this shit up. He sure did it. We're getting down to the wire. What if these ABC whistleblowers come forward? Will that change the minds of a lot of voters? I mean, you guys deserve to know the truth. Absolutely. It's a must that you guys are fully informed, because if there's funny business going on, I knew something was up anyway, because before the debate even came on, I told Twan, I said, why the fuck is Donna Brazile here? Didn't this bitch get in trouble years ago for passing motherfuckers questions too? Yeah. People think we forget. People think you forget. I didn't forget about Donna Brazile. Maybe a lot of the watchers did. Donna Brazile should not be talking before any debate. She should not give any commentary when it comes to fucking debates. You ruin the trust of the American people by giving questions to a candidate beforehand so they knew what the questions were and knew how to properly navigate through the question. Dumbass. For those of you who don't know who Donna Brazile is, formerly of the DNC, probably still affiliated with the DNC, go look it up. For those of you who do know who she is, you've been listening to the Chronicles podcast. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Definitely give yourselves a pat on the back, because we've went through all this, the Donna Brazile thing. Nobody is new. None of my listeners, if you followed me on this journey, should be new to her bullshit. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy, I tell you. Why would you put someone on there like that? That was the first thing I said. Now, I don't know if these earrings she was wearing, these so-called Nova earpiece earrings, I don't know if any of that's true. I don't know. the company apparently came out and said, yeah, that looks similar to our product, huh? They put out a statement that said it. Yeah. Hilarious, right? Well, said, that looks similar to our shit. But, might not be it. But 'tis what it is, right? We've got to get to the bottom of it. We've got to know exactly what's going on so we can make an informed decision. Some places are already early voting. Shit's crazy. I don't know. I can't call it, Who knows what to think next? And the American people are set to hear some apparently bombshell news when it comes to regarding the Trump assassination. Apparently, there's going to be some news coming out regarding that. Richard Blumenthal came out recently, and here's what he had to say.
I think the American people are going to be shocked, astonished, and appalled by what we will report to them about the failures by the Secret Service in this assassination attempt on the former president. But I think they also ought to be appalled and astonished by the failure of the Department of Homeland Security to be more forthcoming, to be as candid and frank as it should be to them in terms of providing information. And we are going to absolutely insist on the truth and the whole truth in documents and testimony as members of the United States Senate, but also as citizens.
What did you learn new today when you said they're going to be appalled?
I'm not going to go into what we have learned in specifics. I'm giving you my reaction, and we will have a report very, very soon that I think will absolutely shock the American people, or it should, about the lapses and lags in the protection that was afforded that day and the breakdown in communication, failure, and responsibility.
Is that report coming today or tomorrow?
I'm sorry?
Is that report coming out tonight or tomorrow?
No.
This, I feel, is going to be a shit show. It's going to be a shit show. I don't know how else to put it. Because obviously we have answers that we need to get to on that too. Senator Josh Hawley, he came out recently as well. And here's what the fuck he had to say. And he gives something that's baffling to me too.
Some new whistleblower reporting. What are they telling you now, Senator?
Jesse, what I'm learning now is that the lead advance agent that day in Pennsylvania, this is the agent that was in charge of Trump's entire trip in Pennsylvania, that this agent actually failed one or more of her training exams when she first joined the Secret Service. I mean, the pattern that is emerging here, Jesse, from whistleblowers who've come forward to me now over and over again is that the Trump rally was undermanned. It was understaffed. They did not have people who had experience on it. And now this advance agent, I'm told, may have failed one or more of her training exams and was known not to be a top quality agent. I mean, this is absurd. And the fact that the director will not level with the American people about what's going on here is just totally unacceptable and unbelievable.
Director Cheadle, we know, had a priority to make 30% of the Secret Service women. So this woman fails, maybe once, maybe twice, maybe more, and doesn't matter. Cheadle still makes her in charge of the protective site detail for Butler, knowing that there was an Iranian threat
Yeah, see, this is what's so hard to understand is that if this individual had failed one or more of her training exams, if she was known not to be really one of the Secret Service's top agent, she's in the Pittsburgh office, why was she put in charge of the entire trip, Jesse? I mean, the whole thing. She was in charge of the whole works from the time the president landed to the time he went to Butler. It's just totally inexplicable. And Jesse, one other thing. I'm told by people who are close to and have knowledge of the Secret Service's own internal investigation that the Department of Homeland Security is leaning on the Secret Service not to comply with document requests to Congress. I mean, this is really getting to be outrageous. The American people need the truth here.
Yeah, there's a cover-up going on. Now that's definitive. And thank God for this whistleblower pipeline that your office established. Senator Josh Hawley, thank you very much for what you continue to do. We really appreciate it.
This is ridiculous. I feel like we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of this and find out that this might have been an inside job. Don't be shocked. Do not be shocked. That's all I could say. You know, there's no other way to put it. You know that the American people, if they find out it's funny business going on, they're definitely voting for Trump. So you know they're trying to keep it tight as a motherfucker. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They don't want to have any shenanigans before the election. They want to know. They want to make sure that the government's on the up and up. I personally wonder if this is an inside job. I mean, which it's looking like it most likely wasn't. It could have been an inside job because they were saying this motherfucker was going at, shooting ranges the same as the government, allegedly. I wonder, did they not give a fuck while they were planning this? And were all the motherfuckers that were planning this shit to go down, were they wearing anything t-shirts from needleandthreadsco.com? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There is the anything shirt available at needleandthreadsco.com. I am going to take pictures as well in my Trump tee at some point. I wore it during the live stream. I showed it for those of you that saw the live stream. It was the "You missed" Donald Trump with the middle finger shirt. I'm pretty sure that one's going to be available soon at needleandthreadsco.com. That's needleandthreadsco.com. Promo code Chronicles. Get your 15% off, man. Come on. Come on. Get that 15% off at checkout. So then you can go about plotting your shenanigans on former presidents. Yeah. Absolutely. Sexual chocolate. What do y'all think about this whole Kendrick thing, you know? It's been so much going on. So Kendrick puts out the commercial that he's performing at the Super Bowl talking about there's no round twos, but then puts out a diss track damn near a day, 2 days later. What? Help me help you, Kendrick. Help me. Are you trying to bait Drake again or what? What are we doing? Or did you release the song to take heat off the fact that people are upset that you're performing at the Super Bowl in Louisiana? New Orleans. And I'm going to tell you guys my stance now. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I agree that it should not be Kendrick Lamar performing at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. That's just my opinion. If Jay-Z's going to do this thing where he's giving people shine, if you're doing it by region, then Cali had their turn. Now, great, Kendrick Lamar had the biggest song of the year, but if you're doing it in New Orleans, you've got to pay homage. Just my opinion. I'm just keeping it a buck. So many New Orleans artists you could do. You could do Master P. You could do, all of Cash Money. People keep saying Lil Wayne. Have all of Cash Money there. Juvenile, everybody performing. Cash Money and Master P alone doing a halftime show would be dope. It'd be dope. I mean, why Kendrick Lamar? Not Like Us is, of course, the song of the year, but he just had it with Dre in L.A. And I'm from Cali, so I can look at it objectively and say, hey, Cali already had their turn. Give it to the NO. I would say the same thing if it was in Texas. If it was in Texas, I'd say you need to have Texas artists, right? You have Super Bowl in Texas, I would say absolutely Scarface should be performing over Kendrick Lamar. And if you guys think Scarface has lost it, go to YouTube, go to NPR, Tiny Desk Concert, listen to Scarface Tiny Desk Concert. That man did an amazing concert on Tiny Desk. We got to give it up for that. That's one of my favorite Tiny Desk performances out of all of them. And there's a lot of them on there. So yes, if you're going to do it regional, you've got to do it right. If it was in the ATL, if it was in Georgia, I'd expect T.I. or Ludacris or Jermaine Dupri. Yes. And all you motherfuckers okay with the Kendrick shit that are from the East Coast, would you care if it was in New York? Would that make you care? Because I agree too. If it's in New York, it should be somebody from New York. It should be people from New York. I mean, let's keep it honest. The Super Bowl halftime show's only 12, 13 minutes anyway. You can only get a bunch of parts to a song in there anyway. So you might as well just pay homage. I feel like that's me looking at it very objectively. But this no round two shit and then putting the song out, like I said, and then kind of seeming like you were naming Drake in the song. If you want this to continue, just say it, And I thought Kendrick was riding with Colin. I thought all these niggas didn't fuck with the NFL. Now everybody wants to come back home. What the fuck? You know? Everybody says he's such a deep rapper, and I believe Kendrick probably is a deep rapper. You know, he's got some good bars. He's a lyricist, yes. But why doesn't he speak on all this other shit? Why don't you tell us about California? Not like us, verse 3, you took us through slavery and all that. Thank you, nigga. But what about the state of California right now? California has migrants pouring over the border. They have insurance companies are leaving. Businesses are leaving left and right. It's a shit show in California. Rap about that, nigga. And why aren't you supporting your fellow artists? YG was up there dancing it up with you, talking about not like us on stage at the pop-up. YG's album just came out. This nigga did a gang walk, a gang march in LA, and came out with a fucking shoe, and his album couldn't even sell 10,000 copies. Why didn't you shout him out on Instagram? Why not? What would one post have done for YG's album sales first week? Think about it. One post from Kendrick Lamar would have got YG possibly 70, 80,000 album sales. Possibly, maybe even more. I'm just moving it up. I'm moving the goalpost to 70, 80,000. One post could have did that for that man. But nothing. These niggas, like I said episodes ago, all these niggas are sitting here on stage dancing and bebopping and yelling not like us, but when it comes to their individual projects, they got to eat on their own. And I think they're starting to see now that there's no trickle-down effect. Everybody's saying that the West Coast was back musically. No, there's no trickle-down effect. The world just wants Kendrick. The world doesn't want the West Coast. It pains me because I DM'd my brother earlier today and we were talking about it. It pains me to say that. They want Kendrick. They don't want the West Coast. I watched a lot of YouTubers from the West Coast, No Jumper, Community, all these guys. The West is back, man. Everybody, we next, we back. No, it was Kendrick's run. It was Kendrick's run during the beef. Everybody came out for his video. Everybody came out for his pop-up and said LA's unified, yada, yada, yada. Kendrick ain't promoting y'all niggas, man. I gotta say it. I gotta say it. Gotta say it. It takes a Bay nigga to be the bearer of bad news, I guess. It takes a nigga from Northern Cali to be the bearer of bad news when it comes to these things, you know? But hey, I love my state and, I fight for my state. I'm dual state. I'm Alaska and California. California was where I was born and raised, and I live in Alaska, but I fight for both of them. So when it comes to my state, my second home, well, my first home, economically, immigration-wise, the health, safety, and well-being of family, friends in California means a lot to me. Did you hear about the earthquake the other day in California? Again, they're having more earthquakes. Earthquake after earthquake. They just keep having them. They just keep having them. Each earthquake, I sit and I think about insurance companies. That's what I keep thinking about. I keep wondering what the companies are going to cover. Who's going to cover what? Are people going to be able to get the coverage they need? I just keep thinking that every time. Because we just talked about this car insurance and all kinds of things that people need. Prices are going up for. Some damages might not be covered under your carrier, but you're still going to have to make do. I don't know. But we always talk about being prepared, do we not? We always want to know how we could be ready for the unexpected. How we can be ready for anything that comes our way. And you got to be, because you just never know. An earthquake can rip your home in two. And you know, people are saying the big one's coming in California, and I really do believe that the big one's coming. Even if you're not in California, down south, tornadoes, hurricanes, we've got to be prepared for these things. World War III, Civil War, we have to be prepared for these things. You've got to get ready. That's what I'm going to preach, you know. Every week for you guys, I'm going to talk about that. I wish that I could have talked during that live stream. It still bothers me. Yes, it does. I'm gonna cut it short. You know, this is a quick week. We're not gonna have an episode next week. I'm taking a break, a much deserved break. Do you dig? But I will be dropping next week, or maybe even within the next few days, I will be dropping the Conversations with Cuzzo episode that I've wanted to drop for a long time now. My interview with a dominatrix. When I talked about doing Conversations with Cuzzo originally, I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to talk to different people from all walks of life, and I'm going to continue that tradition, lining more people up. But like I said, I want you guys to be entertained too. I want to be able to sit up and have these conversations, because conversation is what connects us all, you know? We have to get out of just being in our own shit and being in the newspapers and worrying about what's in the newspaper, what's in the magazine. We've got to entertain each other. We've got to communicate. We've got to talk.
All right, I'll tell you a story. This is a newspaper, right? It's 90% bullshit, but it's entertaining. That's why I read it, because it entertains me.
Yeah. So I feel like I have to help entertain you guys. So that's what this episode's going to hopefully do. You know? A lot of you guys don't even know what a dominatrix is or does. So I hope this enlightens you a little bit. So we'll have a little fun while I'm on break, you know? Because that's what it's meant for. It's meant to entertain. But yeah, I'm taking a much deserved break. You know, gonna enjoy myself, relax. But I still like to keep the content for you guys. So, you know, enjoy. Cuzzo's finna be up out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, got something out of this episode. I'm sure news is going to keep coming out. If something big happens, I might jump on here during the break, possibly, or do a post or a video through phone, something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But to the haters, you know. I
almost forgot. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, you know. And to everybody else,
I'm better than you, and you know it.
And we're out. You guys get goals accomplished. Remember, needleandthreadsco.com, promo code Chronicles, 15% off at checkout, man. Do yourself a favor. Get you a shirt, get you some merch, get your girls some merch, get your kids some merch, get whoever some merch. Handle your business, and we out.
Yeah, 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 yeah.